What's going on, people? It's Josh here from Jed's Fitness, and today I'm going to take you through my lower B routine. I'm in a bit of a strange position right now. That's about it. So welcome to the second video of my upper lower series. Today we're going to be going through my lower B workout. This is going to be my quad prioritise workout. Sit back, relax, enjoy the video. So the first exercise of the day was the back squat. Now I think this is such a solid compound movement that should really be included in everyone's leg session. It's such a prime movement for growth. Here you can see I was doing a couple of warm-up sets, just gradually increasing the weight each set until I hit my working weight for my first set. So with this exercise, this is going to be the main compound movement that I want to focus on, hence why I put it first in the session. Rep ranges for this exercise will range from 6 to 8 reps. So I'll aim for a 6 to 8 rep range. If I can do more, then I'll up the weight and drop the reps. With this exercise, I was going for 3 sets. My volume's still fairly low throughout this stage of my training program, so I've got plenty of time to increase, and also because I'm training every other day, my legs are getting pretty much hammered, so I got to keep the volume down. As you can see here, I worked up to 120 kilograms. So like I said, I did 3 sets of these. I think I got 8, 7, 7. So I was pretty happy with that. I think that's actually a PR since I've moved into my bulk. The important things to remember with this exercise is to keep a nice neutral spine. You want to keep your head up, your elbows square beneath the bar so it keeps you in an upright position, and you want to be driving through your heels. It's important to control the weight throughout the full range of movement, so both on the eccentric contraction and the contraction phase. This is going to just help reduce stress on your knees. If you're smashing the weight around, flying down and up, you're going to find that you will get injured and can pick up injuries in both your hips and your knees. Alternative for this exercise could be the front squat or the goblet squat. So after a bit of silly dancing, we actually moved on to the leg press. Now, seeing as this is my lower B session, meaning it's quad prioritised, my aim for this exercise was to prioritise the quads. So there's a few ways in which you can do this. Now, although the leg press does work the full upper leg, so both the hamstrings, glutes and quads, if you do want to put more stress, apply more stress to the quads, all you have to do is put your feet lower down the plate and keep them a bit close together. On the other hand, if you wanted to prioritise your hamstrings, all you have to do is put your feet on the top of the plate and widen your stance a bit. So this is my secondary compound movement, meaning that the rep range is slightly higher. With this exercise, I was aiming for 8 to 10 reps. Also, because of the higher rep range, the rest times will be slightly less, so I'll only be resting here 90 seconds, whereas on my back squats, I was resting sort of 2 to 3 minutes, so I could make sure that I was hitting each set with maximal intensity. The things to remember with this exercise are to keep your lower back and bum pressed firmly into the chair, and you want to be controlling the weight again throughout the full range of movement. If you allow your bum to roll off the chair, it'll put stress on your lower back and could cause injury. So the third exercise of the day was the split squat. Now, I actually put these in my last session. I've changed things around a bit, so I've put lunges in my last session and changed split squats to this session, so I thought I'd just re-record it for you anyway. So the stance for this is slightly wider to try and hit the hamstrings a bit. Like I said, this is a quad prioritised session, but there will be some hamstring work in it anyway. With this exercise, it's important to make sure your knees are tracking over your toes. You're sitting nice and upright with a nice neutral spine and head looking forward. With this exercise, I aim for 8 to 12 reps on each leg. So moving on to the next exercise, which in this case is the standing Carver machine. I'm actually really do like this machine. I find you can get a really nice contraction. Things to remember with this exercise are to keep a slight bend in your knees, just to make sure you're taking a bit of tension away from the knee joint. You want to be going through the full range of movement, but with a slight pause at the bottom, so a pause of 1 to 2 seconds. Just take bounce out of the movement and make sure it's the actual calf doing the work, as opposed to bouncing off the tendon. Rep ranges for this exercise ranged from 15 to 20 reps, and I did 4 sets. Now it's important to include seated work as well as standing for calves. Rest time will stay short at 60 to 90 seconds. So the last exercise of the day, well, the last upper leg exercise of the day, I normally put my isolation work in last, so I finished off with quad extensions. With this movement I worked through a 10 to 15 rep range, so normally with most of my isolation work it does tend to be higher reps, so 10 to 15 reps and 2 to 3 sets to finish off. It's important to keep your toes pointed towards the ceiling, your bum and back pressed into the seat, and you want to control it throughout the full range of movement, making sure you get a nice squeeze on the top but still controlling the eccentric. Rest times stay shorter at sort of 60 to 90 seconds again with this exercise. So at the end of my leg workouts, I do tend to put my ab workout in. I'm training abs sort of every other day or 3 times a week. With my lower B session, I normally do hanging leg raises, just body weight, with sort of 15 to 20 reps. I almost go to failure every time on these, as you can, because they're not weighted. So, and then I'll do a few twist crunch at the end. With this exercise, you just want to reduce the swing as much as possible. So the last exercise of the day was weighted crunches. I always make sure that I include some weighted work with my abs, as many people neglect this, although they are just the same as any muscle and will need progressive overload in order to grow. So this exercise is important to make sure you're not sitting back over your heels. You want to be sort of 1 to 2 feet away from the cable, hips slightly in extended position, and you want to make sure basically that you've got enough room to contract the abs throughout their full range of movement. So the aim is going to be to not move your hands, but you're predominantly going to be contracting your core to create the movement, trying to get your arms and head between your legs. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found it informative. I hope you enjoyed. That's my full lower B quad prioritise session. Next I'll be filming my upper A session, so I'll get that done in the next couple of days for you. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, get subscribed, there's more content to come. Peace out, take it easy, I'll catch you in the next one.